Take us through the process of what this offseason was like for you, and then towards the end when this deal came together, sort of how it came together.
Yeah, obviously, off season was kind of a roller coaster. This is my third one now, and excuse me, it just seems like everyone gets tougher and tougher. It's one of those things where it's, here we are, the team's leaving, on Sunday, and I'm just getting to camp, trying to get ready for a season. And, there's a lot of us, a lot of really good players out there that, are in the same situation. So it's just one of those situations where, fortunately enough, I found a place here, with New York, and one of those last second, type things, and worked out. And I'm excited to be here. I know the guys are super excited to have me. And I'm super excited to just be in the clubhouse with them, and I'm ready for the journey ahead of us.
And then you obviously know your body, your swing better than anyone. How long is your expectation in terms of what this is going to take to ramp up and be ready?
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't even know. I think we were at something like 15 days at least. It kind of sucks. Obviously I want to break with the team. I want to be there. I want to be there for opening day. That's a special thing to be a part of. But I got to get my body ready. I got to have my spring training now, and I got to get ready for the season. And the last thing I want to do is kind of just rush through it and get hurt. And so I want to make sure I, take it slow and build my body up to get back out there.
You had a chance earlier in the offseason to sign with the Giants. What kind of prompted you to bypass that offer and wait it out?
I mean, it kind of was one of those things where, if I'm being quite honest, it's not the best, hitter-friendly park for me. If I go there and I hit 260 with 20, people are going to say I'm old and I'm washed up and I'm kind of, done and find myself out of the game, So I wanted to give myself the best opportunity. It was nothing against the Giants organization at all. I just wanted to give myself the best opportunity to continue my career in baseball and keep playing,
And you see Citi Field as a place where you can put up better numbers?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, San Fran's a tough ballpark to hit in, especially when you go the other way there. Citi Field's not like that. Most fields aren't. That's one of the big ones.
Tim? Were you surprised at how slow the offseason was for you and how long this took?
Yeah. It's honestly, it's a shame, It's, like I said, it's my third time, and, this is, I think, my second labor agreement now. And with every one that goes by, you expect it to, get more fair and kind of clean itself up. And it's honestly, it just seems like here we are again, and it's kind of getting every year, just every time just gets worse and worse. And we go back to the conflict with, okay, well, here we go. We're going to get ready for another one because you got a lot of guys out there that could start on most teams right now, and they're still jobless, and it's just a tough situation to be in where, it almost feels like there's more teams out there not trying to win than teams that are trying to win. So you're put in this position, and we thought with our last agreement, expanding the playoffs, making it more enticing for teams to compete, that it would change it, and it's kind of the same thing right now.
What have you been doing, and where have you been working out? Just where do you think you're at? I know you have a full progression to build up to, but where are you right now?
Right now, I mean, I've been hitting probably 5 days a week back home, 4 to 5 days a week, depending on the rain. I hit at my alma mater, Nova Southeastern University, and down in Miami at Sosa. And so I just, I've been lifting, hitting, running, but it's one of those things where it doesn't take place of actual baseball. It's kind of weird. You could train as hard as you want all off season, but nothing gets you ready like baseball, like actual baseball. So it's just got to get out there. I got to see live. I got to see pitching. I haven't seen 100-mile-an-hour fastball since October. So it's one of those things where you kind of got to get calibrated to it.
JD, there's been some talk about what you alluded to relative to the CBA a moment ago, and that maybe the strategy of more teams being in the postseason sort of backfired from the standpoint of it may disincentivize teams to spend liberally because they figure, well, maybe I don't need to spend as much because now it's easier to get into the postseason. Is any of that in play for you, just in terms of philosophically and where you might want to go next time?
I mean, for me personally, I want to win. I want to be on a team that wants to win. You know, obviously the MLB has, with this whole playoff thing and, you know, making teams go out there and try to compete. That's a whole separate issue with the union and, you know, MLB and the commissioner's office. That's a whole different thing. For me, I know I don't have too many years left in this game. You know, I'm 36 now. I'll finish this year at 37. So I want to give myself the best chance to win. You know, I'm addicted to the playoffs. I've been there multiple times, you know, to the World Series. And once you get a taste of that, you know, it's kind of addicting.
Will on the right.
Hey, JD, you have a strong reputation for your knowledge of hitting. What's your approach to sharing that information? The Mets have a few younger players on this roster, so I was curious how that works from your standpoint.
Yeah, I'm an open book. You know, jeez, I keep doing this. I'm sorry. I was talking to some of the guys today. You know, they were asking me about, you know, hey, do you like talking about hitting? I was like, absolutely. I'm an open book. Don't ever be like intimidated or scared to come up to me or, you know, not want to bother me. Like, I'll talk anything about anything. You know, that's my passion. That's what I do.
And just when you diagnosed your own season from last year compared to the year before, what do you think was the biggest differences?
I think when I went to the Dodgers, I think they kind of showed me some things with my body that I wasn't really aware of. You know, the important things for me is, you know, as I gotten older, is my mobility and staying loose. And they kind of addressed that right away when they saw it. They said, whoa, dude, what's this? You know, and they kind of saw some things wrong with my, like, you know, the way I was moving. And I started addressing it. And then all of a sudden, the ball started flying again. You know, I changed the way I trained. I changed the way that I just looked at how I was going to get ready for a season and how I was going to maintain during a season. And I think they did a good job making me aware of that.
John?
Yeah, I think we noticed you with your arm around Mark Vientos at the batting cage and talking to him for quite a while. Obviously, he's probably, it's kind of bittersweet for him. He's happy to see the team improve, but obviously his playing time is going to be affected by your. Did you talk to him about that, or what did you say to Mark?
I mean, we kind of talked a little bit. Obviously, I understand, you know, his position. You know, he's a young kid. He's 24 years old. He's got so much time in this game, and this, you know, he's got so much talent, and you know, I understand his frustration. You know, obviously, me and him go way back because we train out, we work out at the same place, and everything. So I know for him it was one of those, exactly what you said, one of those like bittersweet things. But you know, I kind of just told him, I was like, you know, there's plenty of opportunities. You know, whether it's here, whether it's another team, you just go out there and you worry and you play your game and you play your hardest, and the chips are going to fall. You know, talent will always find its way to the big leagues. I mean, I gave him my example of, you know, my career, and he understood it, and I was like, there's no reason to, you know, be mad about it or upset about it. It's just look at it and use it as focus, you know. And he was open-minded about it. He was fine about it, honestly.
Yeah, you were released by the Astros.
Yeah, yeah.
2 years ago in spring.
Yeah. No, so was Stearns. Stearns was there too. I was kind of wearing him out about that too a little bit, but no, it's all good. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, we joked about it. We joked about it. I said, hey, last time I came in this office with you, it didn't end well. And he started laughing. He's like, oh, that was a long time ago. Big mistake. So it's cool. It was, like I said, it was a blessing. At the time, it was the worst thing to me, and I felt like the world was falling down on me. But then I look back, and, you know, God's got a reason he does everything, and it was the biggest blessing for me ever. So, you know, I said thank you.
Manny on the left.
You spoke a bit about the Giants before. What did you like about the Mets? How did you assess this team before you signed? Because it is a two-way street. You had to make the decision to sign too, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've played enough against them. You know, last year played against them. I know they got a really good bullpen. I know they got lineup. I know, you know, obviously right now with the injury with Senga is, you know, obviously hurts, but, you know, he's excited he's going to be back soon. So I just know they got a lot of tools, you know, and, you know, I think with Stearns, I think with some additions he might add, this is going to be a tough team.
Did you have any conversations with any players before jumping on? I know you played against Lindor a lot in the AL Central. Do you have any conversations or relationships with any players?
I wouldn't say before. I know Pete was really fired up, and Pete was very advocate about getting me over here and reaching out. I mean, we have the same agency, so he was kind of just get him over here, this and that. And I was like, dude, I'd love to. It's not up to me. So he was very, I would say forward with, making it known to them that he wanted me here.
Yeah, hi JD, I'm from TalkSport UK Radio. We're looking ahead to the London series, and you've been there before for the Red Sox. I'm not sure if you've had enough time to think that far ahead, having just joined the franchise, but you're looking forward to going back to London this summer with the Mets?
The flight, not so much. But the actual, when you're there, it's fun. It's a lot with the media, and the whole, everything. But the actual game is unreal. You don't play in front of that many people here in the States. And I remember it was like 80,000 almost.
It was a run fest, wasn't it? Oh, well, sorry.
And how many people were there last time? It was like 80,000. They fit 60. It was
60. Yeah.
It was slammed. I never felt so much like they were right on top of you. So that environment is something special. It was cool. It was a very cool experience. I had plenty of pictures. My family loved it. I went out there, and it was fun. Getting to and from the field was very hard, though. I'll tell you that. It took us a long time.
Are you expecting there to be as many runs as that game? Because over those two games, there are a lot of runs. Yeah.
I liked it because I was a hitter, so we put up a lot of runs. But it was, I don't know. I mean, it was kind of weird. It was just the way it kind of just laid out. It almost felt like a playoff game. Just the adrenaline and everything. It's a completely different environment.
Is there anything left in London that you didn't tick the box last time that you want to go and see this time?
I don't know. Not really. I think I had, fish and chips they have up there? Yeah, I've had some of that.
Mushy peas? Do you have mushy peas?
I haven't had any mushy peas yet. I have to try some of those.
Okay.
You mentioned going way back with Vientos. How far back? You're a good bit older than him, so.
Wow, when he was at the minors, he was out there, and he was, we were working out at Pete's and Bomberitos and everything like that. So.
Working out where?
At Bomberitos.
Okay.
Bomberito Performance down in Davie, Florida.